In this video, I'll be showing you how to do some research in psychology. To get started, make sure you're at elac.edu, the ELAC homepage. Scroll to the top and click on the library link at the very top of the page. Once you're at the library homepage, scroll down and you'll need to get to our databases. You can either use this A to Z databases link under the one search, or if you scroll down further, under the Explore Library Resources menu, there's also a link, A to Z Databases here. Both links will take you to our A to Z Databases page, and here you can see every database you have available to you as an ELAC student. To narrow this list down, you can use the subject limiter at the top. So you can click Subjects, you'll see all of the different subjects covered by these databases. And for this video, we will select psychology. So you can see now our list has been narrowed to 17 different databases, all of which may be helpful if you're doing research in psychology. At the top of this list, though, you'll see a yellow box, and these are your best bets. So these are going to be your most helpful databases if you're doing research in psychology. At the top of this list, you'll see the DSM-5 library. This is our online subscription to the DSM. And underneath that, you'll see 4 different databases. We have Medline, PsycArticles, Psychology and Behavioral Sciences Collection, and PsycInfo. Now, the great thing about all 4 of these databases is that they're all from our EBSCO database provider. So if you click on any one of these 4 databases, you'll be taken to the database that you selected. So we clicked on Medline, so you can see at the very top of this page it shows which database you're searching. You may be familiar with EBSCO, the database provider, which provides us with a lot of different multidisciplinary databases. When you're doing research in psychology, since we now know that these are your best bet databases, we can click on one and we will choose specific psychology databases. So I clicked on the Choose Databases button at the very top, so right next to here, Choose Databases. And these are all of the different EBSCO host databases. So we can select the databases that are in our list over here. So we've already selected Medline, but we need to select PsycArticles, Psychology and Behavioral Sciences, and PsycInfo. So let's do that. So the first 2 are up here at the top, APA PsycArticles, APA PsycInfo. We've already selected Medline, and our last Psych database, Psychology and Behavioral Sciences Collection. So once you have those 4 databases selected, you can select OK. And you'll notice now this new option that says Show All. So you can see you are searching all 4 of your best bet databases for psychology. So now we can do a search knowing that we're searching all 4 of those EBSCO psychology databases at the same time. So when you're doing your research, remember to only use keywords and subject terms. So you don't want to type in a full research question. You want to stick to the most important words of your research, which will be your key terms or keywords. Let's try a search for gender dysphoria, for an example. So I'll type in my topic. I can hit the search button. And now we have our list of results. So you can scroll down here, and if you're familiar with EBSCO, some of the content will look familiar, the tools. In EBSCO, we also have our 24/7 chat, so if you do need help along the way, feel free to click Chat Now and you'll be connected to a librarian. For now, I'll click No Thanks. So what you're going to be seeing are mostly academic research articles. Depending on your topic and depending on your needs, you may need to refine your research list. So you can refine this list of results in two ways. You can either add a key term. So for example, I could do gender dysphoria and adolescents, or gender dysphoria and children. Or you can refine your results list by using the extensive limiters that EBSCO has available in the left column. So you'll see you can limit to a specific publication date range. You can limit to a specific source type. And the most important for doing research in psychology, if you scroll down even further, you have multiple options to choose from in terms of methodology. So for example, do you only want to see an empirical study? Do you want to see a quantitative study, clinical case studies, a meta review, a literature review? So this methodology section will come in handy if you're required to look at a specific type of methodology within your research. Another one that will come in handy when you're doing research in psychology may be your tests and measures. So you can select a specific scale or test that will limit your results even further. Scrolling up, there's all sorts of limiters that will also be helpful. For example, you can limit by age range of participants in the study. You can limit according to gender, geography, so on and so forth. So let's say, for example, we want to limit our results list to adolescents. I will just click on that button and it's going to update my results list. Here we go, we went down to 112 articles. And let's say even further, I want to limit my results list based on a specific methodology. Let's say I want to see only empirical studies. And it will update my list even further. So you can see now we went from 100 down to 82. If you want to also limit by region, you should be able to do so further down in your results list. Under population, you can limit to a specific type of population you want to focus on. And a lot of these limiters will show a few at the top, and you can always click Show More to see if there are any others that you can update to. So once you start browsing your list of results, a couple of things to keep in mind. Your title of your scholarly article will be at the top in blue, hyperlinked. You'll see the information about the article right underneath, so you have the authors of the study. You'll also have the title of the journal it was published in. You'll get the subjects of the study, and then you should see links underneath that will take you to the full text of the article. So if you click on the title, you'll be taken to the record of this article. If you click on the full text links, you'll be taken to the full article. So I'm going to click on the title to give you an example. Sometimes clicking on the title can be helpful because you'll be able to see more information about this article before delving deep into the article. One of the most important things you'll want to look for is the abstract. So the abstract is a simple summary of the overall research article. This can be helpful to you if you're trying to decide whether or not the study actually fits your criteria. So for example, you can check to see if it's a qualitative study, a quantitative study, if it's an empirical research study, or a meta review of literature that's already out there. So by reading the abstract, you'll have an understanding of the type of article that you're looking at, but also the information that's reported in the article. So once you read the abstract, once you scroll to the top, your full text links will be listed on the left here, and you'll also have some tools for this article on the right. So you can email the article to yourself, you can save it or download it to your computer. You can also cite the article. So if I click the Cite button here on the right, you'll get this pop-up box, and you can scroll down. If you are doing research for psychology, you will likely be using APA style. So here is your APA style citation for the article. I can close this box if I need to. And when you're ready to look at the full text, the HTML, if you see the HTML option, will take you to the article written out on your computer screen. So here is your full article now written out on your computer screen. You may also see the PDF full text option. The PDF full text option, that's going to be the same content, the same article. The only difference is you will see what it will look like if you had the journal in print. So this is just a scanned and uploaded copy of the same exact article, but now you can see the article and what it looks like in its print form. And here is your article. If you're unfamiliar with doing research in psychology and reading these scholarly research articles, most articles follow a very similar pattern. So at the very top of the article, you have the title. You also have usually the primary researchers or the authors of the article along with their institutional affiliation. Right underneath, you'll have the abstract of the article. And most articles follow a very similar pattern. They usually start with some sort of introduction where they go over the research issue. They may give you some review of the literature that's already been published on the subject or topic. And then they go into the methodology section. So this method section, it may say method, methodology, it may say research design. This section is very important for scientific research. In this section, the authors outline exactly how they did their research. So you can read through the method section to see the types of interviews they did. If it was qualitative, you can see the types of quantitative measures they use, so on and so forth in this section, the method section. Following the method section, this is the results section. This is where the authors present their results of their studies. And often this section includes things like tables, graphs, charts, and it includes the raw data of their research study. Following that, there's usually some type of conclusion or some type of information where they discuss their results. So the method section, they tell you how they did their research, then followed by the results section, they share the raw data of their research, and then the discussion, they discuss the meaning of that data. So the discussion section usually gives you a lot of great information. It tells you the researchers' interpretations and analysis of their findings. Sometimes there's a conclusion, but always they will end with their references. So they have their references list at the very end, outlining exactly the research that they used in the process of doing their study. So this is a very typical research article. So that's it. When you are doing your research in these databases, don't forget you may have to try different keywords. You may have to try multiple ways of narrowing your results list. But if you do run into trouble, you can always click the Ask Us 24/7 link and chat with the librarian.